Now, it may not be a political setback, but embarrassment nonetheless for the Congress party. Anil Antony, the son of veteran Congress leader and former Union Minister A.K. Antony, joined the BJP today. Anil Antony, who was a Congress leader from Kerala, quit the party in January following the row over BBC's documentary on the 2002 Gujarat riots and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. BJP leader Piyush Goyal, V. Muralidharan and party's Kerala unit chief K. Surendran welcomed the former Congress leader to their party at a formal event today. Anil Antony said, "Every Congress worker believes they are working for a family, but I believe I'm working for the country." He added that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has a very clear vision of putting India in a leading place in a multipolar world. But his father, A.K. Antony, termed his son's decision as painful and unfortunate as well as wrong. He said that he is going to remain a congressman till the last breath of his life. He is going to contest the ideology of the BJP and RSS.
कांग्रेस के कई नेता और कार्यकर्ता मानते हैं कि उनका धर्म एक परिवार के लिए काम करना है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि मेरा धर्म इस राष्ट्र के लिए काम करना है. I as a young India represents vast majority of India, the biggest majority of India. I do think that it is my responsibility and duty to contribute towards the Prime Minister's vision of nation building and national integration.
2014 onwards, during the first Narendra Modi government onwards, they are systematically diluting diversity and secularism. Till my last breath, I will oppose all the wrong policies of RSS and BJP. I am now 82. I don't know how long I will be here. But I will, one thing I can tell, I will die as a Congress worker, is all.
I've also seen his very significant contributions to furthering India's relationship with many other countries around the world. He has had a significant contribution as a young leader. He was designated a Munich young leader, also participated in the European Union Visitors Program, where at the European Parliament and European Commission, he was an invitee. He has been part of several youth dialogues, be it in Australia, be it in Germany, be it in Japan, where he was called a future global leader.
Sneha Koshi is now joining us with more details. Sneha, does this move of the BJP serve largely to embarrass the Congress party, or in Kerala, can Anil Antony really help the BJP?
Well, Maha, for what the BJP is viewing this, it's a crucial move for them, according to what they claim, because of what they see it as being a minority reach out, where around 45% of the population in Kerala is minorities. BJP does not have even one elected MLA or parliamentarian as of now. So this, they hope, will be able to bridge that gap. And in not mincing their words, in fact, Union Minister Muralidharan said exactly this while speaking to while choosing to speak in Malayalam while being in Delhi and welcoming Anil Antony into the BJP fold. But while Congress has officially not spoken about it, you heard a visibly very pained A.K. Antony speak about his son joining the BJP, saying whatever he has done has pained him, but A.K. Antony himself would die as a Congress loyalist. Having said that, formally Congress may not have responded to Anil Antony's move to BJP, but some within it believing that this will not essentially translate into votes, something of course that the BJP does not agree with.
All right, Sneha May, thanks for joining us with that perspective. Let's move on now. The opposition has boycotted the tea that was hosted by the Speaker at the end of the budget session. Instead, it held a protest, Tiranga March. Holding the national flag, MPs of like-minded opposition parties like the DMK, Samajwadi Party, RJD, Shiv Sena, that is the Uddhav Thackeray faction, the Aam Aadmi Party and the NCP, along with the left and the Congress, started the march from Parliament and walked all the way up to Vijay Chowk. Several opposition parties, as we pointed out, took part in this Tiranga march, boycotting the tea that was in fact hosted by the Speaker Om Birla at the end of a budget session, which has been a virtual washout as it has been ruckus-ridden. This is the second half of the budget session. The Lok Sabha was adjourned sine die again amidst ruckus.
आखिरी दिन को भी कांग्रेस और उनके साथियों ने बहुत गलत तरीके से डिस्टर्ब किया, हाउस को चलने नहीं दिया, काले कपड़े पहन करके संसद का फिर से अपमान किया। ये बहुत देश के लिए दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण अवस्था है। हम चाहते हैं कि इस संसद का मान सम्मान को बनाए रखना चाहिए, लेकिन एक कांग्रेस नेता श्री राहुल गांधी को लेकर के कांग्रेस पार्टी और उसके साथियों ने जो किया है, देश देख रहा है।
आपको एक ही उदाहरण बताऊं, 50 लाख करोड़ का बजट केवल 12 मिनट में पास किया गया। और वो हमेशा कहते गए कि अपोजिशन पार्टी को इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, वो डिस्टर्ब, लेकिन डिस्टर्बेंस तो रूलिंग पार्टी से हुआ।
On a baseless issue on which the government had no role at all. They were trying to deflect the attention from important issues which were to be deliberated and discussed in the House, particularly since it was the budget session. And the budget has been widely received and welcomed by the entire country. My own reading is that the Congress was running away from the debate on the budget.
Let's move on now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the BJP workers on the occasion of the party's 43rd foundation day and hailed the work done by the party while hitting out at the Congress for Parivarvad or dynastic politics. He said the BJP is determined to fight corruption, nepotism and law and order challenges in the country, adding that it draws inspiration from Lord Hanuman, as today is Hanuman Jayanti. He said the BJP has always kept the nation first as its policy and that it had worked for the empowerment of all sections of the society. He slammed, on the other hand, the Congress party, saying that it was so helpless that it was now making statements only targeting the Prime Minister.
आज भाजपा देश में एक नए पॉलिटिकल कल्चर का भी नेतृत्व कर रही है। कांग्रेस और उनके जैसी पार्टियों का कल्चर, उन पार्टियों की पहचान क्या है? ये उन्हीं के कल्चर में से पैदा हुई है। उन पार्टियों की पहचान है, पार्टी का नाम लेते ही एक ही बात दिखती है, सारी पार्टियों का दर्द देख लीजिए, परिवारवाद, वंशवाद, जातिवाद और क्षेत्रवाद का बंधक है ये सारे लोग। जबकि भाजपा का पॉलिटिकल कल्चर प्रत्येक देशवासी को साथ लेकर चलने का है। 2014 में भारत के लोगों ने भारत के पुनर्जागरण की नई यात्रा का शंखनाद कर दिया है। 800 साल से ज्यादा की गुलामी से बाहर निकलकर एक राष्ट्र अब अपना खोया हुआ गौरव पाने के लिए फिर से उठ खड़ा हुआ है। और इस प्रक्रिया में दशकों से चली आ रही बुराइयां, चुनौतियां धीरे धीरे कमजोर पड़ती जा रही है। पहले कार्यकाल में ही बादशाही मानसिकता वाले इन लोगों ने इन शोषितों, वंचितों, दलितों, पिछड़ों कोई मौका नहीं छोड़ा उनकी मजाक उड़ाने में कि 2024 में भाजपा को कोई नहीं हरा सकता। ये बात सही भी है, लेकिन हमें एक भाजपा कार्यकर्ता के नाते इस देश के हर नागरिक का दिल जीतना है। हमें चुनाव जीतने तक सीमित नहीं रहना है, कोटि कोटि जनों के दिलों को जीतना, ये हमारा मकसद है। इतने हताश, इतने नाराज हो चुके हैं कि अब एक ही रास्ता उनको दिख रहा है, एक ही उपाय दिख रहा है, और वो खुल करके कहने लगे हैं, मोदी तेरी कब्र खुदेगी। वो कब्र खोदने की धमकी देने लगे। बादशाही मानसिकता वाले इन लोगों को, इन पार्टियों को एक बात पता नहीं है, आज देश का गरीब, देश का सामान्य मानवी, देश का युवा, देश की माताएं, बहनें, बेटियां, दलित, पीड़ित, शोषित, वंचित, आदिवासी, हर कोई भाजपा के कमल को खिलाने के लिए, भाजपा के कमल की रक्षा करने के लिए वो ढाल बनकर के खड़ा हुआ है।
Well, let's move on now. The External Affairs Ministry has once again reiterated its stance on China's alleged move to rename some of the places in Arunachal Pradesh. The External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said that Arunachal Pradesh is an inalienable part of India.
But let me just reiterate that restoration of normalcy in our relationship will require restoration of peace and tranquility in the border areas, which has been disturbed since April 2020. As External Affairs Minister said, the presence of a large number of troops there in contravention of agreements is an abnormality. We have been holding discussions on the diplomatic and military tracks, but till such time the situation in the border area sees a return to peace and tranquility, as I said, we cannot foresee normalcy in the overall relationship. ये पहली बार नहीं है कि चाइना इस तरह के कोई अटेम्प्ट कर रहा है.
So Arindam Bagchi there in the first half was speaking about the situation in eastern Ladakh and the border friction, saying that the relationship between India and China cannot be normal till the situation on the border is normal. Meanwhile, apart from the External Affairs Ministry, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman too has hit out at China over its renaming stunt.
We have stopped Chinese from coming into Arunachal Pradesh. Our actions speak for it. So they can go on saying, oh, Prime Minister doesn't speak. I want him to please check up on what their first Prime Minister, our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had said.
Now, as the 8th round of negotiations for the India-UK trade deal concludes, UK-India Business Council Chair hopes the recent friction over the Khalistan issue doesn't impact the deal. Richard Heald spoke to NDTV and said that the UK businesses community has in fact made a representation to the UK government to take the matter of the pro-Khalistan activist demonstrations at the Indian High Commission in London extremely seriously. There have been recent, incidents, some across the world, one particularly in the United Kingdom, of pro-Khalistani activists trying to pull down the Indian tricolour at the Indian High Commission in London. Do you think the friction that is created in bilateral ties because of incidents of this nature impact even negotiations, for instance, the FTA?
I would certainly hope not, and certainly the views and attitudes of businesses has been, UK businesses has been making representations to the UK government as to how serious this is a matter, and I believe that the UK government is now taking these matters seriously. The fact of the matter is that we have laws in place in the UK which, if there is criminal damage, those can be prosecuted under criminal law. And equally, if there are threats made against individuals of any nature that is deemed to be of criminal nature, then those also can be prosecuted, and therefore that should be taken forward. I think it's highly unfortunate. I mean, I have colleagues and friends in the Indian High Commission. I was in the Indian High Commission probably 10 days ago. There was a demonstration at that time, wasn't the demonstration you're talking about, but I think it's a very unfortunate and unpleasant environment for them to operate in, and we've got to take action on it.
Right, with that, we're taking a very quick break. News and updates will continue. Stay with us.
Brought to you by...
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story India is closely watching. News that informs and inspires.
The news with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
Years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense-paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring
Welcome back. With Karnataka going to the polls next month, the big question for the Congress is who is going to be their chief ministerial face. Two Congress veterans, former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and current State Congress Chief D.K. Shivakumar, have thrown their hats in the ring. In a conversation with NDTV, now both leaders have made their chief ministerial aspirations extremely clear.
D.K. Shivakumar wants to become the chief minister, nothing wrong. Absolutely. If I want to become the chief minister, some ex wants to become the chief minister, nothing wrong. Ultimately, the newly elected MLAs, they have to elect leader of the legislature party. And ultimately, High Command has to take a decision. So that is the democratic procedure.
If the High Command decides, saying that let's give way for the new blood, probably D.K. Shivakumar, would you be willing to give up that ambition?
No. See, that won't happen because we have to go by the democratic process.
Okay.
That question does not, High Command will not take a decision on its own. Okay. Go by the opinion of the newly elected MLA.
I've been a loyal soldier of the party and I have not betrayed the party at any point of time. We both together see that Congress party comes to power and then the party high command will take its own call. My only aim to deliver Karnataka to the Congress party and to the country. I think from the day one, I have not slept. I have travelled the nook and corner of the state, taken every section of the party and fought on the streets of Karnataka. And today I am very proud to tell that Karnataka will have a change, we will have a good government with a governance.
Now, the Congress has released its second list of 42 candidates today for the next month's Karnataka Assembly elections and also marked a seat for regional outfit Sarvodaya Karnataka Party. The elections to the 224-member Assembly will be held on the 10th of May and the results will be declared on the 13th of May. The Congress candidate for Kolar is yet to be declared. Sources say that Siddaramaiah will not contest from Kolar. Let me go across to Shrija for more details on this. Shrija, so then ultimately is Siddaramaiah going to contest only from one seat?
Well, it is not clear yet because clearly we see the Congress is keeping that particular seat guessing, because the second list also does not announce the call to Kolar seat. What we do know is that as far as Siddaramaiah is concerned, he was very vocal about the fact that he wants to contest from the Kolar seat. However, the ultimate decision lies with the party high command. Top sources also tell us that
Mr. Siddaramaiah will get that particular seat. Because at least about a month ago, what we do know is that there was an internal polls that was done, ground survey in Kolar constituency that particular seat is very unsafe for Siddaramaiah. Even during in our interview, my question to him was, is the seat safe right now at the moment? And he definitely quit saying that, the internal survey does suggest at this point in time that it is safe. And he also did go on to say that if Siddaramaiah contest, especially from Kolar constituency, it can have a cascading effect to nearly 20 constituencies, which means 20 constituencies there are high chances for the Congress to win. So that is one of the major reasons why we understand that the groundwork by, Siddaramaiah's team that has already started, though it is a JDS's stronghold. Now, always Siddaramaiah has contested from 2 seats, but this time around, the curiosity level has only peaked right now at the moment. But however, the High Command has kept us all guessing whether or not Mr. Siddaramaiah will get to contest from Kolar seat.
All right, Shrija, many thanks for joining us with those details. This even as the tussle for the chief ministerial post continues in the Congress party, as the party hopes that it can win this time around. Will it be Siddaramaiah or DK Shivakumar? That remains the big question. Let's move on now and talk about the police being on alert in Delhi's Jahangirpuri today with the Hanuman Jayanti processions that were held. Delhi's Jahangirpuri was under heavy police and paramilitary protection all day. After initially turning down the VHP and Bajrang Dal's requests seeking permission for the rallies, the Delhi police decided to allow the two after speaking to the organizers. On April 16 last year, clashes had broken out between two communities in the area during a Shobha Yatra on Hanuman Jayanti. Police said that elaborate security arrangements had been made this time around for the peaceful movement of processions.
I come to you from Delhi's Jahangirpuri, where the Shobha Yatra on the occasion of Hanuman Jayanti is currently underway. It's going on completely peacefully because of the kind of police deployment that we are seeing on the ground. So this is the same area where violence erupted last year between two groups. Two groups had clashed last year, and keeping that in mind, there's heavy police deployment. If I can ask my camera person to show you, there's not just senior officials of the Delhi police, but also the rapid action forces are also there on the ground. CRPF personnel are there on the ground to make sure that the yatra goes on peacefully. Remember earlier, the Delhi police had denied permission to the Vishwa Hindu Parishad and the Bajrang Dal to conduct this particular yatra, but late last night the senior police officials from the Delhi police had met organizers and heads of both religious groups, and that after holding those talks, it was decided that this particular yatra will be held, but only in a regulated way. That is what the Delhi police had said, and the yatra is allowed only to traverse the route, this particular route, which is only a little over 200 meters. The yatra is not allowed to cross those barricades. If I can ask my camera person to show you those barricades. Those barricades are put there, and the yatra is not allowed to cross that particular barricade, because what's being said by the police is that what lays beyond those barricades is a sensitive area, and the police doesn't want to take any chances. Now remember, the Union Home Ministry had also issued advisory to states to make sure that everything is under control because, you know, these yatras come close on the heels of the Ram Navami violence that we saw in West Bengal. So the police is of course extra cautious this time. The Home Ministry had also said that the police must monitor any factor that might lead to potential communal violence, and had also directed that additional forces must be present on the ground, which is why there you can see there are 3 layers of security. If I can ask my camera person to show you, there are senior officials of the Delhi police followed by rapid action forces, and then there are barricades, and of course then CRPF personnel are also deployed. So this is the kind of 3 layered security that we are seeing on the ground. Currently the yatra is taking place absolutely peacefully, and not just here in Delhi but across, not just here in Jahangirpuri in fact, but across the national capital. Shobha Yatras were conducted completely peacefully. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi, Vedant for NDTV.
Meanwhile, Central Armed Police Forces were deployed in West Bengal to assist the state police during the Hanuman Jayanti processions. That was announced by the Union Home Ministry, which also asked all states to ensure law and order during the festival in the wake of communal violence earlier on in Bengal and Bihar during Ram Navami.
Normalcy. I don't anticipate any problem. People are all cooperating. I think today will be a very happy day. Bengal will set a trend in peace and harmony in society.
Taking a very quick break now. News and updates will continue. Stay with us.
Gadget 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadget 360, Gadgets Love. You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadget 360.
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया.
So let us begin the big fight.
"20 years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/best of NDTV. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for 2. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebration.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
In a deeply polarized world, where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse, we take a step back.
Amidst the nationwide upward trend in the COVID cases, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia is expected to chair a review meeting with health ministers of all states and union territories on Friday afternoon. On Wednesday, in fact, COVID Empowerment Working Group also conducted a review routine meeting. Dr. V.K. Paul, Dr. Rajiv Bell, DG ICMR and other senior health officials attended the meeting. Now, according to sources, this was a review meeting to know the COVID situation and preparedness in the country. In fact, what has been underlined at the moment is that there is need to remain alert, but there is no need to be very worried about the situation. This is a variant of Omicron which is circulating in the country, and this hasn't particularly increased hospitalization, although there have been deaths that have been reported in the past few days which have increased concern among the public.
इस वक्त हमारे साथ ILBS के डायरेक्टर डॉक्टर SK शरीन हैं। सर, कोरोना के मामले फिर से बढ़ रहे हैं, तो क्या कहेंगे अभी लोगों के लिए, क्या सलाह और कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, इसका भय तो शुरू से था सब लोगों को कि वायरस वापस आएगा, नए रूप में आएगा और हो सकता है नए हथियार लेकर के आए, और वही हुआ। धीरे धीरे कोरोना के केस होली के बाद से बढ़ने शुरू हुए, और हो सकता है होली या हो सकता है कि उससे पहले में लोगों के मिलन से ये वायरस स्प्रेड करने लगा। जो अभी वेरिएंट है XBB.1.16, ये वेरिएंट बहुत जल्दी स्प्रेड करता है, बहुत इन्फेक्टिव है। 2 दिन के अंदर इसकी तादाद बढ़ जाती है, और इसके कारण एक से दूसरे में जब तक पता लगता है कि कोई लक्षण आए, तब तक दूसरे में वो चला जाता है वायरस। तो हम लोग कई बार ये भूल जाते हैं, कहते हैं भाई मेरा खांसी, गला खराब हुआ, जुकाम हुआ, पर 3 दिन से चल रहा था, वो ध्यान नहीं रहता। उन 3 दिनों में आप कितने लोगों को इन्फेक्ट करते हैं, ये एक मेजर मुद्दा है जी। तो जो आपने कहा कि दिल्ली में केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं, वो मुझे लगता है इसलिए भी कि लोग थोड़ा सा भूल गए थे, लोग थोड़ा सा ये एहतियात कम बरत रहे थे और वायरस स्प्रेड कर गया। अभी जो वेरिएंट है इतना लीथल नहीं है। हमारे हॉस्पिटल एडमिशन जैसा आपने देखा दिल्ली, बॉम्बे और जगह बढ़ गए हैं, बट हाँ, फॉर्चुनेटली अभी तक हमारे यहाँ मॉर्टेलिटी ऐसी नहीं है।
Let me now go across to Vedant, who will give us a sense of the numbers now. Vedant, what kind of figures are we seeing in the number of cases as well as the casualties or the fatalities that we are seeing, because that particularly is now worrying people?
You see, Maha, a couple of important things, but before coming to the numbers, let me quickly tell you that Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia will be chairing a high-level meet tomorrow, and this comes after the empowered group of the government also conducted a high-level meet in which it was, reiterated that genome sequencing and increased testing have to be the focus as far as COVID is concerned. Now, a couple of important numbers. More than, active cases and fatalities that you mentioned, Maha, what is important to reflect on is the R rate. Now, the R rate essentially, gives us a sense of how fast the virus is spreading. That number is very crucial. So, the R rate, according to experts, is between 2 and 3, so which means that one person with COVID can actually infect 2 to 3 more people. So that is the rate at which COVID is spreading currently. Now, other important numbers, remember the positivity rate. As far as the positivity rate is concerned, the average positivity has almost doubled in the past 1 week. The average positivity currently is at around 2.8%, and it was at around 1.4% last week. So, that rate has doubled. So, of course, this means that COVID is spreading faster. Now, the 7-day moving average is also very important, and we have a lot of data crunching as far as that is concerned, or on NDTV.com as well. So that particular number, the 7-day moving average, has gone up by over 5 times in the past 1 month. But the good news, Maha, is that even the hospitalizations have increased, not just in Delhi but in Mumbai as well. Even the hospitalizations have increased. Doctors continue to say that the number of very sick patients, that number is low. So that is good news. So number of patients that require intensive care, or the number of patients that require, very heavy oxygen support, that number is low. And hospitalizations have gone up almost 4-fold to 7-fold in Delhi as well as Mumbai. And as far as deaths are concerned, Maha, that number has been the highest since October. So fatalities are also rising. Doctors continue to say that those people who are unvaccinated, that number is very, a very sort of a meager number, but those people are completely unvaccinated, they are developing pneumonia, and they are the ones who are actually facing the mortality. So, the message is simple for us: to get vaccinated, mask up, and also keep our immunities high, especially if we have comorbidities. Maha.
Vedant, thanks for getting all those details. Let me now go across to our two guests who are joining us on the show. Dr. S.K. Sareen, Vice Chancellor, ILBS and Chairman, Delhi Government's panel on COVID-19. And we are also being joined by Dr. Hanuman Thakkar, Member, Maharashtra COVID Task Force, Consultant Physician and Cardiometabolic Specialist as well. Dr. Thakkar, coming first to you, sir. What is the situation like in Maharashtra specifically, and the state of readiness for any situation, because the numbers in Maharashtra seem to have gone up quite drastically?
So numbers have gone up all over the country, and Maharashtra is no exception. We are seeing increased positivity. We are seeing people calling in for symptoms. But I will strongly reiterate that there is no urgency as far as oxygen requirement, as far as ventilator problems are concerned. And most of the people who are reporting severe, prolonged, protracted symptoms are the ones who have comorbidities. Another interesting feature is we are seeing co-infections, coexisting. We're seeing bacterial pneumonias and COVID positivity. We're seeing H3N2 positive, along with a background of COVID-like ground glass appearance on CT scan. So I would say the respiratory world is getting crowded. The way to keep the respiratory terrorists away is definitely mask properly in crowds, mask in public places, try and avoid physical meeting, in the sense, greet people with the namaste. There's no need to touch them or hug them. And if you can help it, try and avoid very crowded areas.
Okay.
And of course, if you haven't used your vaccination boosters, you're in trouble. In Bombay too, we are promoting, besides the COVID boosters, we are talking about flu vaccines and pneumococcal vaccination in those that need it. But flu vaccination is important because the entire array of diseases that we are seeing is not from COVID alone, but from variants of swine flu, from rhinovirus, and so many other things. So Bombay is no exception to Delhi, numbers going up, very few hospitalizations, hardly any ventilators or oxygen demand. I would request people not to make a hue and cry as far as numbers are concerned. You don't want to ruin the economics by, building up too many numbers. But the only reason I'd like the media to spread the message is that mask up, improve immunity, wear your vaccines on your sleeve, and you shouldn't have a problem. Remember, it's an Omicron variant, and Omicron has been through the country a year and a half ago and has vaccinated everybody.
Okay.
COVID is here to stay.
All right. All right, and we need to learn to deal with it. Dr. S.K. Sareen, if we really need to learn to deal with it, despite the fact that the world has gone through such a bad patch with the pandemic, people still avoid wearing masks till such time as it is mandated. Do you think the time has come for the message to come from the Health Ministry that people need to start masking up for this time period?
Thank you for inviting me. I want to clarify that the COVID task force for Delhi was earlier, and I'm not the member now.
All right.
But I did serve in the beginning and also for the Supreme Court task force. And we have learned a lot in the past 2 years due to the COVID infection and reinfections. My message is, firstly, if you had a COVID infection or a reinfection, even 2 infections with COVID, generally the immunity will be for 10 months to 15 months or so. So if you had a COVID in 2021 or so, don't think you will always be protected. The immunity wanes after a time. It is very well known that if you had COVID in the past and you take another booster or the 2+1 dosage, you add about 9 to 12 months more of immunity, whichever variant is there. So there are 3 categories of people: those who never got vaccinated, definitely should get vaccinated, get 2 dosage plus a booster. Those who had vaccines but never got infected, you need to sprue up again and get more boosters if required in your area. Third, if you got infected, remember that is not lasting. Therefore, you need to get another vaccine booster. Now, mask is your own vaccine. It is the best vaccine you can have because it protects you. It's an individualized vaccine for you and your neighbors. I think, as rightly said by Dr. Hemant, we need to mask up in hospitals, in crowded places, in buses, in trams, or in metros, and also at airports. We should remember that you are not the one who is going to get infected, but if you are infected, you may infect many, many more.
That's
Therefore, I think the time has come. There are beautiful data from Shanghai where there was a clamp down, people were clamped for a time. The economics had stopped. At that time, there was a really reduced, spread of the infection. When they opened up, the Chinese never saw such kind of disasters, I think, as far as health was concerned. So I think it is clear that we should wear masks. We should avoid places as much as possible for crowded places. Two more things that people probably have forgotten. One, that if you have a self-testing kit available, why don't you test? Every fever, every cough and cold that you have, I think a self-testing kit is available. It is easy. You do it at yourself and report. Don't forget.
Okay.
Number two, that if you have any cough and cold, don't ignore alone. Go somewhere, probably get tested because it is the time that you may have COVID and you can spread it. Hospitalizations are not high, fortunately, but we may see it after 2 or 3 weeks' time. Morbidities can increase mortalities. The last thing in the previous COVID, which we ignored, was people who are obese, overweight. And these people, even if they are young, they should be considered as sicker than the normal healthy people. In the vaccine also trials.
All right, we seem to have lost our link there with... all right, Dr. Sareen, we are unable to hear you, Dr. Sareen. We'll come back to you. Let me go across to Dr. Thakkar. Dr. Thakkar, one point that Dr. Sareen made was about using the self-testing kits, which are largely rat kits. So, the rat test basically tells you that you will not be able to spread the infection much, even though it's not as sensitive as an RT-PCR test, sir, but good enough to prevent the spread, would you say?
So I think what Dr. Sareen was correctly saying is, if you do a rat test and if it is positive, you will take immediate precaution to quarantine yourself and prevent the spread of infection.
Correct.
That does not take away from the fact that we have a lot of rat positive, RT-PCR negative. But the utility of the rat kit is to quickly rein in, to decipher the symptom. And if it is positive, then not to push and go out, so you restrict the spread.
Correct. And I think the bottom line here, Dr. Thakkar and Dr. Sareen, that both of you are trying to stress on is everybody must learn to be more responsible, to not spread this infection any further. Dr. Sareen is back with us. Dr. Sareen, as far as masking up is concerned, which is perhaps the best mask at the moment? Will a surgical mask do or an N95?
Well, surgical mask definitely protects you. It's better than nothing. And it will protect you maybe in 65 to 70% of cases. Even a small hanky can, but a 3-layered mask is better, surgical. But best, of course, is N95, where you have a very small, maybe 5% chance or so that you can spread or can get infected through. So my first choice is N95. They are readily made available in India. They are good. You should use them. But remember, you can discard them or you can probably get them re-sterilized properly. The general public, even the kids, have learned how to use a mask. We should not make this light. We should use mask. Maybe this variant will also go away. The only way out is vaccination, and masking at the right time. We do not have the capacity right now to have good antiviral drugs. Let's say you have TB, you have drugs for TB.
Yes.
But for this virus, or in fact for any other virus, we don't have good drugs. So protection and good immunity are the only things. Also, those who had COVID and had lung disease are extremely prone. We see patients who have got transplant or are very sick with liver disease. I think they are very vulnerable. We are seeing close to 300 samples coming for genome sequencing in a week, maybe sometimes even more at ILBS. And we find that the positivity rate in the samples which are coming is very high. Earlier, you have so many samples, very few were positive. Now, if you get, say, 300 samples, the number of samples which are positive is very high, and almost 98% are XBB 0.1, 0.16. So this new variant rapidly spreads. In about 2 days' time, it can become much more. It may not be as lethal as of now, but it is one of the fastest spreading variant. And it can have children, it can have lineages, if we are not protected or semi-protected.
All right. We are running out of time, but Dr. Thakkar, I want to come to you quickly. You said that COVID is here to stay and we need to learn to deal with it. But you know, after a pandemic, usually we see the virus petering down. It's not being that effective or lethal, for instance. When will we see that situation with the novel coronavirus?
Did you not have a honeymoon for 12 to 14 months? There was no problem. And even now, I ditto with Dr. Sareen that this variant which we are seeing is a mild variant. It's spreading fast. And it's only hurting those people who have comorbidities. And it's the few deaths that you are reporting. You know, nobody reports a death of influenza. But the number of deaths that we are seeing in COVID now are quite similar to influenza. So it's because the patient with respiratory infection succumbs. And just because he had COVID, you deal and you link it to COVID. It's a mild variant. And you can see that the children of these COVIDs and the variants are all gradually but surely petering out. But that doesn't mean that it's away. We are seeing the tail end. Hopefully this will not go up, but we need to mask. We need to vaccinate. And one other thing I need to tell people, don't call in for cocktails. This is a mild variant. You don't need a cocktail. You don't need antivirals. You only need discipline and symptomatic treatment.
All right. Dr. Sareen and Dr. Thakkar, both of you, many thanks for joining us here on the show and giving us clarity on the cases that are rising of COVID-19, but also the doctors there helping us understand how to prevent this infection from spreading further in the society. Taking a very quick break now. News and updates will continue. Stay with us.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Our lead story tonight. Big international story. India is closely watching it. News that informs and inspires.
The news with Sonia Singh. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. only on NDTV 24/7.
The only side we're on is yours.
20 years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense-paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. Widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
Welcome back. Some political news now. With Karnataka going into the polls next month, the big question for the Congress party is who's going to be their chief ministerial face. Two Congress veterans, former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and current State Congress Chief DK Shivkumar, have thrown their hats in the ring. In a conversation, two separate conversations rather, with NDTV, both leaders have made their chief ministerial ambitions very clear.
I'm a congressman. By birth, I'm a congressman. I have confidence in our leadership. Let us all work together. Chief Minister is next. Bringing Congress to power is the priority, and I will succeed in it. So Siddaramaiah is a very seasoned politician. He will never comment. How will he comment? Rahul Gandhi has come on the floor of the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee and said very clearly that this election is going to fight on the leadership of DK Shivkumar, Siddaramaiah and Mallikarjun Kharge, the collective leadership, before Kharge becoming the party president. So we all are working together. Kharge has become a big strength to us after becoming the ACC president in the national scenario, a bloc president becoming the ACC president who has finished 50 years of his political life as a legislator.
But the issue is about Mr. Siddaramaiah. How do you...
It is the creation. Definitely, one has to be aspirant with no one having a aim or reaching a goal. In politics, one should have a thirst of politics. I don't see. He has been given an opportunity. Definitely, we are also not sitting at home. My aim is not myself or Siddaramaiah is not himself. It is we both together see that Congress party comes to power and then the party high command will take its own call.
But you are definitely an aspirant and you want to be the chief minister this time.
My becoming an aspirant is a different issue. My aim is only to bring Congress party to power. Rest I will leave to the high command.
But the fact is, sir, that you have worked so hard within the party, and as you said, every nook and corner. You are very clearly stating that you want to become the chief minister in the possibility if the Congress emerges victorious.
See, my only aim to deliver Karnataka to the Congress party and to the country. See, we all are aiming to see that the entire country is saved. Karnataka should be saved. You see the corruption going on, the inflation going on, the price rise, unemployment problem, all these things, we have to give some solution. Why Congress party is there? Congress history is country's history. Congress strength is country's strength. See, Congress, we should not allow it to be faded. Even when Janata, the party, came to power in 78, Karnataka played a very major role. Even when Rajiv Gandhi was the prime minister, again on the opposition angle, Ramakrishna Hegde became the chief minister. So like this, Karnataka will have a different tone. There will be a change, the time has come out for the change, and you will have a new successful government, a corruption-free government.
Coming back to the caste factor, sir, you come from the Vokaliga. How do you see in particular your caste in terms of Karnataka elections? Is there a possibility of, with the JDS factor where they have always been making inroads? This time round, will you be able to, ensure that they don't dent the Congress's image?
I don't think they have made me a president as a Vokaliga leader. I'm a congressman. By birth, I'm a congressman. And I've been taking all sections of the society. No doubt, caste also plays a major role. But last election, except few of us were being rooted out in the Vokaliga belt, but this time will not be the zero. We'll gain. That gain will be the success story for our forming a new government.
On the issue of JDS, how do you look at it? Because you've seen the Gowda family, Mr. Devagowda's, there are a lot of people within the family who are aspiring for seats. You see it in Hassan, you see it in various other places. How do you see it unfolding?
See, people are given them an opportunity without their mandate. Twice, even at the national level, Mr. Gowda has got an opportunity without his mandate. BJP supported them without a mandate. Congress party supported them with a mandate. And without a leadership, without they forming a successful, earlier it was so, Devagowda got an opportunity. But as far as Kumaraswamy is concerned, they have seen his government. He could not deliver. I am sure the people have realized that. They will vote for us. They will know they will not be a threat. There are strongholds, I don't tell this one. Lot of issues, lot of problems. It is left to their family.
But are you open to having an alliance with them?
No, we are not in a position to have any alliance. We will be comfortable ourselves. I am sure the people of Karnataka will give us a mandate with a thumping majority. We will reach nearly 140 seats. That is my gut feeling.
But if the possibility, you fall short, will you then look at JDS as because like the last time around, you saw people going out and even offering them the chief ministership so as to be able to keep the BJP at bay?
That situation will not arise. People of Karnataka, very enlightened people, they have a positive approach. They want a government, a good government with a single majority. People will vote to Congress party for a change, for their change. For betterment of Karnataka and betterment of country, you need Karnataka Congress government.
I am also an aspirant
Yes.
for the Chief Minister post.
Yes.
Mr. D.K. Shivkumar is also an aspirant
Yes.
for the Chief Minister's post. In democracy, these things are happening, happening.
Okay.
Nothing wrong in that.
Well, let's move on now. The Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikanta Das today decided to pause repo rate hikes, maintaining the key benchmark interest rate at 6.5%. The central bank has already raised rates by 25 basis points since May last year. The governor said in a tightening cycle, a premature pause in monetary policy action would be costly policy error. He also stated that in a world of high uncertainty, giving out explicit forward guidance on the future path of monetary policy would be counterproductive.
The Monetary Policy Committee decided unanimously to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 6.5% in this meeting of the MPC, with readiness to act should the situation so warrant. Consequently, the standing deposit facility, that is SDF rate, will remain unchanged at 6.25%, and the marginal standing facility, that is the MSF rate, and the bank rate at 6.75%.
Taking a very quick break now, news and updates will continue. Stay with us.
Brought to you by...
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter-opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया.
So let us begin the big fight.
Years since we started, this music has been with you. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track. Log on to ndtv.com/best of NDTV. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense paid holiday for two. NDTV 24/7 20th year celebration.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. Widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives, through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
In a deeply polarized world, where space for disagreement is shrinking, where take it or leave it defines discourse, we take a step back. A debate has many facets, perhaps no one right answer. Left, right and center, conversations that get to the core of the debate. Left, right and center with me, Vishnu Shom, 9 p.m. on NDTV 24/7.
This is NDTV. No noise, no shouting, and most importantly, no lies. Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. The Prime Minister's speech at the BJP's Foundation Day sets the 2024 BJP agenda. He says that people are already saying no one can defeat the BJP in 24. The BJP thinks big, the Congress thinks small. Parliament's March and April budget session washed out. It's government versus opposition in the House. No debates even on the finance bill. The finance minister says, I was ready to answer questions, but the opposition didn't do its job. The opposition holds a Tiranga march to save democracy at Parliament. Father versus son over Antony Jr. joining the BJP. Anil Antony says he is joining the BJP today as a young Indian to support Prime Minister Modi. His father, Congress veteran A.K. Antony, says will oppose the RSS BJP till my last breath. The BJP says Anil Antony's entry shows minorities trust the BJP. The High Command stands by people who stand by the party. D.K. Shivkumar, Congress State Chief to NDTV. Days after Siddaramaiah explosive interview to NDTV said the High Command won't choose the next Chief Minister if the Congress wins. The MLAs will. That's DK's reply. He also says we will deliver Karnataka and then worry about who will be Chief Minister. The RBI presses pause on rate hikes with a growth focus. Relief on loan EMIs as rate hikes are stalled for now. The RBI governor says will continue to keep a close eye on inflation. COVID war rooms are back in Mumbai as cases rise. 50% of hospitalized patients in Mumbai hospitals are on oxygen. French President Macron meets Chinese counterpart Xi. Macron says we are counting on Xi to bring Russia to its senses in Ukraine. And amid IPL fever, why the bowlers are dominating. And these visuals of Priyanka Chopra Jonas back in Mumbai and her little daughter offering prayers at Siddhivinayak Temple. Our lead story tonight, the BJP had celebrations across the country down to each booth as the party celebrated its 43rd Foundation Day. The Prime Minister's speech set the 2024 BJP agenda, with him saying that people are already saying we're going to win 2024. The Congress thinks small, we think big.
लोगों ने अभी से कहना शुरू कर दिया है कि 2024 में भाजपा को कोई नहीं हरा सकता। ये बात सही भी है, लेकिन हमें एक भाजपा कार्यकर्ता के नाते इस देश के हर नागरिक का दिल जीतना है।
Battle lines drawn for 2024, with the Prime Minister scathing attack on the opposition on the day his party turned 43. Setting the agenda for the Lok Sabha polls, Prime Minister Modi said that the BJP is committed to rid India of parties with a Badshaahi mindset, a direct swipe at the Congress.
कांग्रेस और उनके जैसी पार्टियों का कल्चर, उन पार्टियों की पहचान क्या है? ये उन्हीं के कल्चर में से पैदा हुई है। उन पार्टियों की पहचान है, पार्टी का नाम लेते ही एक ही बात दिखती है, सारी पार्टियों का दर्द देख लीजिए, परिवारवाद, वंशवाद, जातिवाद और क्षेत्रवाद का बंधक है ये सारे लोग।
The BJP's week-long campaign for the Prime Minister's comeback in 2024 was kicked off by party president JP Nadda, who urged workers across states to paint millions of walls with Modi's re-election message on the party's foundation week.
आपके नेतृत्व में पार्टी ने कच्छ से लेकर के पूर्वोत्तर तक पार्टी ने सरकारें भी बनाई और अपने ताकत को लोगों ने सराहा भी और आशीर्वाद भी, भरपूर आशीर्वाद दिया।
The Prime Minister's focus today was to energize party workers into election mode. In the coming week, the BJP is only going to intensify its campaign for 2024 with booth-level meetings, slogans and jibes. Well, while the Prime Minister said that the BJP is born out of the womb of democracy, the opposition continues to strongly attack the BJP over what it calls the death of democracy. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi, Vedant for NDTV.
And today, the last day of the second part of the budget session, which lasted 3 weeks. But this Parliament's second half of the session witnessed the lowest productivity in 5 years of the Modi government's Parliament sessions. 34% productivity in the Lok Sabha and just 24.4% productivity in the Rajya Sabha. The opposition today also held a Tiranga Yatra on the steps of Parliament.
The productivity of the first part of the budget session was 56.3%, while for the second part it plummeted to an abysmal 6.4%. Cumulatively, the House productivity was only 24.4%. There are 6 honorable members. House stands adjourned
2 बजे तक के लिए
2 p.m. today.
स्थगित की जाती है.
A near total washout of the second leg of Parliament's budget session. The BJP wanted Rahul Gandhi's apology over his democracy under threat remarks in London. The Congress wanted a JPC probe into the Hindenburg report. And Mr. Gandhi's disqualification from the Lok Sabha after his defamation conviction only led to more ruckus.
The opposition which talks about democracy should remember they had a role to play in the parliament. They had a role to ask me questions about the budget.
आखिरी दिन को भी कांग्रेस और उनके साथियों ने बहुत गलत तरीके से डिस्टर्ब किया, हाउस को चलने नहीं दिया। लेकिन एक कांग्रेस नेता श्री राहुल गांधी को लेकर के कांग्रेस पार्टी और उसके साथियों ने जो किया है, देश देख रहा है।
सभा की कार्रवाई अनिश्चित काल के लिए स्थगित की जाती है.
After the Lok Sabha was adjourned sine die earlier in the day due to protests by opposition MPs, members from 20 opposition parties took out a joint march carrying the national flag from Parliament under the banner Save Democracy. In a joint presser addressed by the TMC, AAP, the BRS and 16 other parties, the opposition declared they would unite outside Parliament too to fight the BJP.
यहाँ पर 2 साल से मैं देख रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पर खुद ही रूलिंग पार्टी के लोग ही डिस्टर्ब करते हैं और इसका उद्देश्य यही है, जो हमने मुद्दे उठाए हैं, खास करके अदानी के इशू पे कौन सा ऑर्डर मिला, कैसा मिला, ये सारे डिटेल यहाँ पर चर्चा होना चाहिए, इसीलिए हम जेपीसी की मांग कर रहे हैं.
While the blame game over parliament disruption continues, Congress, the principal opposition party, wants to build on the unity displayed by opposition parties inside the parliament. Sources say Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, will soon write to all like-minded opposition parties, including Aam Aadmi Party, TMC and BRS, for a meeting in order to chalk out a joint strategy outside the parliament too. With camera person Sachin Gupta, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
Meanwhile, there's a poignant father versus son political battle playing out over Anil Antony, the son of Congress loyalist A.K. Antony, joining the BJP today. Anil Antony had quit the Congress amid his views on the BBC docu-series Rao and what the Congress had said. He said today, Anil Antony, that he was joining the BJP as a young Indian to support Prime Minister Modi in nation building. A.K. Antony held a press conference a few hours later, said he did not support his son's decision and he will be against the BJP RSS ideology till his last breath.
Anil Antony, son of veteran Congress leader A.K. Antony, joined the BJP on its foundation day today in the presence of top BJP ministers.
कांग्रेस के कई नेता और कार्यकर्ता मानते हैं कि उनका धर्म एक परिवार के लिए काम करना है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि मेरा धर्म इस राष्ट्र के लिए काम करना है। हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के पास हमारे देश को अगले 25 साल में एक विकसित राष्ट्र बनाने के लिए एक बहुत स्पष्ट दृष्टिकोण है।
A development that left his 82-year-old father visibly pained. Antony Sr. has always been a strong Gandhi loyalist. He retired last year from the Rajya Sabha after 50 years in electoral politics, always with the Congress.
I strongly feel it's a wrong decision. Till my last breath, I will oppose all the wrong policies of RSS and BJP. That family represents all the constitutional values, and that family treat every Indian as one.
BJP is viewing its new joinee as crucial for its reach out to the minorities in Kerala, 45% of the population in a state where BJP has no elected MLA or elected parliamentarian currently. Congress party is yet to respond to this officially, but some within the party believe that this move will not translate into votes. Minister V. Muralidharan, the first to address the media welcoming Anil into the BJP fold, chose to do so in Malayalam.
ഹൈന്ദവ വിഭാഗത്തിൽ പെടുന്നവരല്ലാത്തവരെ ഭാരതീയ ജനതാ പാർട്ടി സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യില്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ക്രൈസ്തവ മതവിശ്വാസിയായിട്ടുള്ള ശ്രീ അനിൽ ആന്റണി, അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ ഭാരതീയ ജനതാ പാർട്ടിയിലേക്കുള്ള കടന്നുവരവ് ഈ തരത്തിലുള്ള പ്രചരണങ്ങൾ നടത്തുന്നവർക്ക് ഉള്ള ഒരു മറുപടി കൂടിയാണ്.
Anil K. Antony was the social media convener for the Congress in Kerala. He quit earlier this year after a backlash over his stand on the controversial BBC docuseries that he claimed attacked the sovereignty of India and wrote a public letter attacking dynastic politics in the Congress. With SP Babu, Sneha Koshi for NDTV.
Well, today the Congress released its second list of 42 candidates for Karnataka. So far, 166 have been announced out of a total of 224 seats. The Congress says it's stolen a march over the BJP, which hasn't announced any candidates yet. The third list, the Congress says, will be announced tomorrow, but the suspense continues over a second seat for ex-Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, with senior sources telling NDTV that he's not likely to get the chance to contest from a second seat. However, today, NDTV also spoke exclusively to State Congress Chief D.K. Shivkumar, and when asked about the controversial Siddaramaiah interview to NDTV, where he said the High Command won't decide the next Chief Minister, it would be the elected MLAs, D.K. Shivkumar said the party has always stood by those who stood by them, though he says we'll deliver Karnataka first and then worry about Chief Minister.
D.K. Shivkumar wants to become the Chief Minister, nothing wrong. Absolutely. If I want to become the Chief Minister, some ex wants to become the Chief Minister, nothing wrong. Ultimately, the newly elected MLAs, they have to elect leader of the legislature party. And ultimately, High Command has to take a decision. So that is the democratic procedure.
If the High Command decides, saying that let's give way for the new blood, probably D.K. Shivkumar, would you be willing to give up that ambition?
No. See, that won't happen because we have to go by the democratic process.
Okay.
That question does not, High Command will not take a decision on its own. Okay. Go by the opinion of the newly elected MLA.
I've been a loyal soldier of the party and I have not betray the party at any point of time. We both together see that Congress party comes to power and then the party high command will take its own call. My only aim to deliver Karnataka to the Congress party and to the country. I think from the day one, I have not slept. I have travelled the nook and corner of the state, taken every section of the party and fought on the streets of Karnataka. And today I am very proud to tell that Karnataka will have a change, we will have a good government with a governance.
So let's see how that plays out. But for now, the Congress, the first of the starting mark on declaring its candidates. The BJP list expected next week. The other big headline tonight is the RBI's focus on growth. After its latest monetary policy meeting, the RBI has left the lending rate unchanged at 6.5%. The rate hike pause is a relief for existing borrowers and new borrowers, and experts say it will be a big boost for growth in the real estate industry and home buyers in particular. This is the first time that the RBI has left rates unchanged since May 2022, with the markets gaining. The Sensex gaining 143 points, the Nifty gaining 42 points.
Taking all these factors into consideration, the real GDP growth for 2023-24 is projected at 6.5%. The risks are evenly balanced.
In other news, we are tracking closely the rise in COVID cases. And though in most cases, a majority of cases, it's mild and it doesn't need hospitalization, there is worry over the impact on senior citizens and people who are vulnerable. In Mumbai, COVID war rooms have opened once again. And of those patients who are in hospital, at least half are on oxygen support.
COVID war rooms in Mumbai hospitals back to work. COVID bed management, counselling patients, all handled in the war room. A majority of patients are now asymptomatic, and the cases are coming in from a wide cross-section of society and income groups.
इस बार ऑन एन एवरेज 10 to 11 केसेस पर डे आ रहे हैं साउथ वार्ड में और रैंडमली आ रहे हैं स्लम से भी आ रहे हैं और नॉन स्लम से भी आ रहे हैं.
The positivity rate in Mumbai is more than 11%, and people are reluctant to test. The other big challenge for the BMC, only 15% of the population has taken the booster shot.
दोनों चीज़ है, दोनों एस्पेक्ट है कि अगर टेस्टिंग आप करवा ले फिर होम आइसोलेट होना पड़ता है और फिर अलग से उनका जो फॉर एग्जांपल ऑफिस आवर्स ये होते हैं. लेकिन बीएमसी की तरफ से हम लोग जो हमारे हेल्प पोस्ट है, हमारा जो हम लोग लोगों को अवेयरनेस यही क्रिएट करें कि आप जल्दी से टेस्ट करें ताकि एडमिशन रेट कम हो, जल्दी से इलाज हो और जल्दी रिकवरी हो. तो जिनका बूस्टर डोज है वो हम लोग कॉल करके बताते हैं उनको कि आप लीजिए करके.
In 10 days, the positivity rate has doubled and cases have gone up 2.5 times. On Thursday, cases were more than 5,000 across the country. On 2nd April, 3,824 cases were reported. 4 days later, there are 5,335. That's a 40% increase.
जो अभी वेरिएंट है XBB.1.16, ये वेरिएंट बहुत जल्दी स्प्रेड करता है, बहुत इन्फेक्टिव है. 2 दिन के अंदर इसकी तादाद बढ़ जाती है. अभी जो वेरिएंट है इतना लीथल नहीं है.
So far, doctors say most people are reporting mild symptoms. The highest number of cases are of course being reported from Maharashtra. But clearly there is no room for negligence, with 50% of these patients requiring oxygen support. With Parimal Kumar in Delhi and Pooja Bhardwaj in Mumbai, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
A look at international news. French President Emmanuel Macron, on a visit to Beijing, has urged China's Xi Jinping to bring Russia to its senses and bring everyone back to the negotiating table. This conversation is reported to have happened during the bilateral meeting of the two in Beijing. Xi also called for peace talks to resume as soon as possible in a joint press briefing after the talks. The European Commission President also joined Macron in Beijing in a show of solidarity of Europe against Russia's war in Ukraine.